I have to ask this question. Do you actually believe that feminism and all these rape laws are actually doing more harm than good? And the reason I ask this is because what's happening is because of all these laws that focus on rape so much and all these feminists who are going on and constantly talking about sex, well, to me, all that's really being done is we're making it look like that's all that women are. That's all they had to contribute is sex and nothing else. That's all they're good for. And personally, I don't believe that should be how it's done. It's kind of like this. If women are capable of doing so much more, how come when it comes to sex, that's all we can think of? That's all that we can go and concentrate on? Because really, when it comes to men, we don't think nothing of it. Men are usually viewed as horny bastards, and that's about it. But we don't go all batshit crazy because, oh no, a guy was taken advantage of sexually. Heck, even when it comes to wealth, when a woman goes and takes a guy to the cleaners and all through the courtrooms, we don't really care or bat an eyelid. And it's like, well, okay, we don't go and hear anything about, oh, men are nothing but wealth objects. That's all that they ever are. That's all that women see them as. They just see them as an accessory to go and make their lives easier. We don't hear nothing of that, despite the fact that's what men go through every day. However, the point being again is that because all you hear is sex, 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 sex when it comes to women, at some point in time, you're going to have to go and ask yourself, well, if that's all they're really focusing on and that's all they're really giving so much attention to, then what else are women good at besides sex? You take sex out of the equation, then why would you be interested in a woman for? So you can sit and say, well, that's wrong and everything else, and I'm like, well, okay, that's my entire point. That is wrong. That is wrong to go and think that way. However, as I've said before, because it is wrong, then why are we, for example, the entire yes means yes laws, where a guy has to go and get consent every step of the way because women are too timid to say no, or a woman may change her mind at any given moment and she can't go and voice that she no longer wants to go and do it. So a guy has to continually ask, do you consent? Do you consent? Do you consent? So, okay, well, again, women are being treated like they're children because of that law. And yet, not only that there, but what about college campuses where a woman doesn't even need proof? She says that guy raped her, that's good enough as proof because, let's be honest, why would a woman lie? Okay, so you gotta prove your innocence rather than the other way around. There is no habeas corpus. You must have a body of evidence that someone did something. Well, the body of evidence is the woman's word. That's all there is. So again, it's like, well, okay, again, what are we doing? We're saying, well, it's sex. That's all that women are good for. It's harmful to women. It doesn't hurt men at all. Men are big, strong beings who aren't intimidated by such minor things, but women are weak, delicate flowers who must be continually catered to because sex is all they got. That's all they can offer. Is this really what you want? And also the entire, oh no, a guy on the street gave me a compliment. How terrible of this. And I'm like, a guy on the street gave you a compliment and you're saying that's street harassment. And the sad thing of it is, I've heard similar people say, you know what, guys on the street, they're not paying me compliments anymore. I'm not getting street harassed. I'm being oppressed because I'm not being street harassed. I'm not kidding. Feminists have actually said this. They'll complain when it happens, they'll complain when it don't happen. And again, what's the bottom line? Women, that's all they're good for. They're only good for as centerpieces. They're only good to be looked at. That's the moral of the story that we're being given here, because really, by focusing on all of this here, then I seriously have to ask, well, if sex isn't the only thing women are good for, then how come that's the only thing that we associate with when it comes to women? Keep in mind, it takes two to tango. Therefore, if we're going to go and sit and talk about women, shouldn't we be concerned about men as well? I mean, how do men react to stuff like this? Do they go out of their mind, or do they just accept it with a grain of salt and move on? The point I'm getting at, though, is this here. We seriously need to stop being so sex obsessed when it comes to women. We need to go and start looking at them as just good for sex and that's it. And frankly, the entire yes means yes laws, the stuff going on in college campuses, and what the feminists are doing, all they are doing is reaffirming the old stereotype that sex and babies is all that women are good for. This is wrong, and seriously, it needs to stop.